I've got customers that have a $750 blower replacement on their furnace and they're financing it.
Yep.
Because this was a unexpected expense for them. And at a point in time where having a 3 month paying out, 4 month, 6 month payment option, 0% to them if they qualified, was a way to get their heat back on. All right, everybody, welcome to the Make Trades Great Again podcast. Andy, how you doing, man?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Hey, Andy, you and I have been talking off air about this, but we haven't talked about it on the podcast. I just recently started offering financing to my customers through our management software because it integrates perfectly through it, all that kind of stuff. And this is something we've talked about over the years, just like, should we do it? Gosh, I don't really seem to get a lot of, questions, a lot of people ask me about it, but every once in a while, that kind of thing. And it's amazing now that I offer it, how many times it comes up. You know what I'm saying? I haven't put it out there on any literature or on my van or anything like that. I should. I'm going to be putting some stuff on my website saying, like financing available, that kind of thing. But we are at a place where, come to find out, you and I, just with some our investigative journalism, that there are a ton of, there's a big trend, a ton of people utilizing these buy now, pay later programs, the BNPLs. And I mean, come to think of it, as we started looking into this more and talking about it more off air, it's like the norm in just about every online shopping experience.
It's very interesting to see how many of those, and I guess I'm going to say for the most part, I am one of those people that look past that stuff regularly, right?
Oh, yeah,
there's always the, it's $49 and then here's your, pay in 4 or whatever.
Yeah.
And
break this up into payments.
Yeah. And I, for most purchases, I kind of go, well, I don't, let's just do it. We'll just pay for it. Right.
Yeah. Admittedly though, you and I are in different places in our lives than we were probably even just 5 years ago, especially
very much
10 years ago. Yeah.
Very much so.
That's a humble brag of saying we're so rich right now.
Yeah.
No, that's not what I meant.
But I guess it's one of those things that and we were just talking before we started recording, largely there's a lot of things that I look at and I go, well, if that item is, let's say it's $200.
Yeah.
Right. And it's maybe not an essential purchase.
Yeah. You're just shopping on Amazon or something.
Yeah. Poking around and I'll be like, oh, that's
you're
cool.
buying a pair of boots.
Pair of boots.
Pair of
like
hiking boots. Ones that you don't even need for work.
Yeah. And I'll be like, well, I don't know. Maybe I don't need those.
If you didn't have the money.
If I didn't have the money.
Yeah.
And anyway, it's all
over the map though. You even you were the first to bring it up in our conversation about this being like the new norm for groceries, and it's like trending upward and people are using it for buying daily essentials.
Right.
Like straight up, I'm going to go to the grocery store, get my week's worth of groceries and be prompted with the opportunity to break that purchase up into 4 different payments.
Right.
Is that being done like right at the register? Or is this like if you're shopping ahead of time online, pick up kind of
I've
thing?
never seen it at the register. It's always just been online. But
I'm so behind the times. I don't like.
Have you seen it at like Menards?
No, the thing is, I should I shouldn't have said I'm so behind the times. I'm not necessarily, but I don't buy my groceries online.
I don't either.
It's just not my thing.
Yeah.
I'm not against it.
No.
I think it's great. Like I see how useful it is, but here I am like a dummy walking through the empty grocery store, which is kind of nice, by the way, because everybody's sitting on the parking lot waiting for their stuff to be trucked out to them.
Right.
And here I am, got my own aisle.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: how much frivolous, non-essential, non-necessary things do you buy just because you're walking around and you're like, oh, look at that?
Well, that's how. Look, I want these grocery store chains to stay in business, Andy. That's how they stay in business. I buy the what is it? What's that purchase called? The
Little Debbie's and the
yeah, but why can't I think
the what?
I can't think of the terminology. What it's such a basic term. Impulse buy.
Oh,
That's what
yeah,
it
yeah, yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha.
No, back to the financing though. So like I guess the object of this discussion was to first bring up I'm offering financing now to customers. And I'm not the financing program I chose, it integrates directly into our software, which okay, look, they're not a sponsor. I'm almost reluctant to bring them up because I feel like every time we do, this company's making money off of us talking about them, and we don't see anything in return. But not that I don't want to help people out. We use House Call Pro. It should be we've done many episodes on this, and within House Call Pro, this software that we subscribe to, you guys separately than I obviously. This
Yeah,
is how we run our business. House Call Pro offers one option that integrates seamlessly into the software for financing. It's this company called WiseTech.
right,
And it's not new. It's been out there. There are many, many other financing options available to any one of us to use as business, service providers. But I chose this one because it's just all right in our software. And it was the least amount of heavy lifting.
right.
And by all accounts, it's a decent system, and it's more or less like this buy now, pay later kind of scenario. And in
Yeah,
fact, this kind of stuff is so um, Gen Z millennial friendly. This is a soft pull on your credit to see if you qualify for a proposed job. So let's say I'm
right.
going to propose to you, Andy, a $10,000 job, and I can, if you say I want to finance. Then all of a sudden I say, okay, no problem. I hit this button in my software.
Yeah,
It sends that proposal in the form of an invoice to you and to this company. And this company then sends you a text message and you initiate the whole process
right,
from your phone. The whole thing is done on your phone in minutes, right? So it's really a BNPL by now. Yeah, BNPL.
yeah,
Um, we're really into the acronyms here. If
right,
anything, this is an ABC, XYZ podcast with
yeah,
the
yeah,
MTGA, right? So the BNPL is done all through your phone. I mean, I looked at all this and I'm like, God, this is where we're at because of so many different reasons people are in need of some sort of um financing in just one way or another. And it's none of my business how people pay for their the tools they use to pay for the services I provide them. Of course, I'm just interested in getting paid. And this is an offer that is long overdue for me. And look, I
right,
know people have done this forever. Like this is not new by any means.
right.
New to me. And maybe soon to be new to you
Yeah,
by just our conversations we've had. And I've had people asking about it since I started. I haven't used it yet, but it's been short, and I've been bidding a lot of work that's bigger,
yeah,
that is outside of the scope of what this offers my customer, and not the kind of work you're probably going to finance on a BNPL, right? Like whole
right.
heating systems for a new cabin going up north or
Yeah.
something like that. So
Yeah, but
anyway,
if you were looking at a project like that, and let's say you got a customer that's like, "Well, I need to figure out how to spread this out, right? We can afford to do it,
yeah,
but I
if they're
can
like
only
a
take a
cash buyer,
draw."
they're doing their own
Yeah,
project or something. Sure.
right. They may look at it and go, "You know what? This makes all of this so much easier because I can make, it's a $20,000 job. I can make four $5,000 payments and helps keep my cash flow where I need it, you know?"
Well, and no, you raise a great point. You're right. I'm not
But
excluding that as an opportunity
yeah,
for both my customer and me to work together. It is
yeah,
definitely an opportunity. It's a
yeah,
possibility, makes it maybe more attractive depending on the, circumstances. But
yeah,
it's also there though. I looked at it as the bread and butter of my business is, the type of work. I'm not just pigeonholing it into only this, but the type of work that is in and out, same day repair, reactionary,
yeah,
like water heaters, for
yep,
example. They don't last forever. And when they fail, you're quite upset and you don't want to be without it. But yet, we're at a day and age where I don't have to tell this to anybody on a podcast listening to us that water heaters are like the second most expensive thing in your house now. in
Right.
2025, right? Like insane cost for a lot of people that can't just be like, what do you mean it's $3,000 to get a hot shower? Well, yeah, but that $3,000 spread out over the next 15 years, that's what you're paying for a water heater. Not financing. I'm saying that's how long they
Yeah.
last. This is what I mean, it is what it is. I can't help it.
Right.
We're not, like I'm not getting rich off of one water heater install, put it that way.
No.
But my customers also are at a point now where it's like it's $2,500 for that? It's just 10 years ago it was $500. I'm like, yeah, it's crazy. It's insane. I understand all of that and you're correct. And so that's where the financing to me was. And then I was talking to our friends, friends of the show, Denver. I'm not going to, say anything he wouldn't want me to say, but like he's been utilizing financing of different forms in his business for a while. Some stuff that's offered through the state of Michigan. And then he's got this program. And the reason I know he's using this
Sure.
program is because he was able to answer a bunch of questions for me. And for him, it was like the conversation immediately went to, hey, I've got customers that have a $750 blower replacement on their furnace and they're financing it
Yep.
because this was a unexpected expense for them. And at a point in time where having a 3 month paying out, 4 month, 6 month payment option, 0% to them if they qualified was a way to get their heat back on. And I thought
Right.
that's exactly why I'm trying to offer this as
Yeah.
a service because I'm capable of doing the work and winning the work if I'm affordable to that person at that point in time.
Yeah.
But if I'm not offering them a way to be affordable, which is this financing option,
Yep.
then I'm not going to get the job. And that was where I was at for the last few years, to be honest with you. As inflation was going up, as people's credit was
Yep.
getting extended, I felt like I was losing out on opportunities that was more than capable and probably even preferred to do the work. But
Right.
because I said, well, I mean, you got cash, check, or credit card, like that's what I was accepting,
Yeah.
and it wasn't fitting into my customers, you know, uh,
Yeah.
ability.
It's interesting. I mean, you got to. I guess you got to think of it in a different direction. I had previously, and I'll admittedly before today's conversation, had looked at this in a little different light, and the unexpected expense part component of it is a huge benefit or a huge factor,
Yeah.
and
As
just
to why you
having
should offer it, you're saying?
yeah, just having 30 days for somebody to be able to be like, hey, I just got to move some money around, so I can pay for this today.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
it's okay. And now whatever we're off and running. I mean,
Well,
it's
yeah, you
something
don't
that
have control over the fact that the water heater failed and they just paid for braces the week before. You know what
right.
I mean? For
Or
their daughter.
tires
You know what I
or
mean?
whatever. Yeah.
Look, yeah,
Yeah.
it
There's
happens to the
yeah.
everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's interesting. I'm gonna have to look into how we integrate that, or if it's something my customers are interested in.
Well,
And
it's
I think
amazing. Like
many of them will be.
we were looking up. You were using Chat, and I was using Gemini, and we were looking up just different statistics
Yeah.
and the trends on this. One of my searches was like, "How does BNPL work?" Another one was um, trends in buy now, pay later in the
Yeah.
US. And there's an amazing amount of like impactful information you can use to kind of go, okay, yeah, this makes sense as my business because look at all of these trends. Like,
Yeah.
we talked about the groceries, but
Right.
like, here's one of the things for generation and income differences cited by Gemini, and they're linking to a Nerd Wallet and a Harvard Business Review link, two links
Yeah.
to this statement. Younger generations, Gen Z and millennials, are more likely to use BNPL for experiences and are also more inclined to finance travel, exercise equipment, and regular everyday purchases.
Yeah.
There you
Well, I
go.
mean, it, it, 2025, it was projected to reach almost $98 billion in the U.S.
Yeah.
for BNPL, not credit card sales. This is BNPL.
Yeah. Look, I'm not looking to
So
offer, I'm not
that's
looking to get into my
wild.
customers' bank accounts and things like that. I'm just looking at strictly how do I keep, if I've got the opportunity, worked however hard, paid certain amount of money to get the opportunity through Google advertising, things like that, for these customers to come my way, I don't want to lose them simply because like this $2,000 job is not affordable.
Right.
My cost doesn't get more affordable. I've arrived at the
Right.
best price I can offer my customer.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is interesting. I think one of the biggest ones was that Swedish company. Is it Sweden? I don't know.
Klarna. Yeah.
Klarna. And you and I were just looking into it before we record, and yeah, we can absolutely even offer this, which is like the biggest one. I think 75, they say they boast something like 75% of online retailers use their product or something like that.
Right.
Um, which we've all seen it as we're checking out on just about any platform, right?
Yeah.
Uh, we could even offer something like that. I went the route I went, admittedly, like I said already, and it might not be where I stay, or I might look into more additional.
Yeah.
But the fact that it was just integrated right into HCP, like that to
Yep.
me was like, okay, I got to make this as easy on me as possible because there's a learning curve on my end, and I don't have any more resources to add to
Yeah.
like, did I send out a credit report? Did they get, like I want this all to be like as seamless as possible. I
Right.
don't know. I don't know. It'd
Yeah.
be interesting to see where you're at a few months from now. We'll have to
Yeah.
check back in on this after I've got some experience under it too. I'll get back to this subject with you guys on the podcast because I think it's interesting in the sense that it's for, as we talk about it as small businesses. Like, look,
Yeah.
I know people listening to this, the companies they work for, if they're not self-employed, are offering various forms. Like, I get it. It's all out there. It's not new.
Yeah.
But as I experienced this for the first time myself as a small business, as a service contractor, I think maybe this is something we can talk about and get people in our audience thinking about too. They're probably already thinking about it.
Right.
And if you have any feedback for me, please let me know.
Yeah.
I'd like
Yeah.
to hear from you on this. You're probably way more knowledgeable on this than I am,
Yeah.
as is evident by this conversation.
Well, yeah, like I said, I think it'll be interesting. I'm gonna definitely look into it. So
Right on, brother. All right, guys, hit us up over in the comments. Text us your feedback using that link right in your podcast app. And if you're watching on watching on YouTube, you can text us as well. There's a link in the show notes below in the
Yep.
caption. And always think about giving us a rating. And you can give us a rating over on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. We really appreciate that. All
absolutely.
right. Anything to add to that, buddy?
I don't think so.
All
Keep
right, man.
keep them messages coming.
All right. I'm going to hit stop.
All right. Later.